All right, so I know that some people are going to possibly get mad at me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Yes, it is selfish to have fucking children if you live in poverty, if you don't got your shit together, if you're barely making ends meet. Yes, it is selfish to bring a child into this fucking world. It is selfish, it's reckless, and it's stupid. And you're only caring about your own happiness. Now here's the thing. Now here's the thing, though, right? Even if you did have your shit together, right, and you did bring a child into the world, I mean, you're still bringing a child into this world just to make yourself happy, regardless, right? So that's neither here or there, but I do consider it to be abuse to bring a child into some bullshit, to bring your child into some poverty. They bring your child into some bullshit, into some poverty, to place burdens onto them that weren't even theirs to begin with. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because because I work with this certain individual, right? I'm not gonna say her name. She's the same age as me. We're both 25. Um, she has a kid. I don't. And and I'm just sitting and I'm just like she's over talking about how like bringing a child into this world is like the best thing you can ever do for yourself. And I'm just like, um, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Are you an imbecile? Because here's the reality, right? The reality is this: you work at a dead end place along with me. I mean, you work at a dead end job along with me, making I mean, shit, you practically fucking live at that damn restaurant, right? You work there 5 days out of the week, 8 hours, just barely making 500. I mean, just barely making 1,000 every 2 weeks, right? And just barely scraping by. I mean, hell, I mean, the amount of money that's gonna take for you to raise, clothe, feed your child from from the age that your child is right now to by the time by the time her daughter's 18, she would need to spend over $100,000 on that kid alone. And she's not even batting an eye about it. She's literally in this fucking restaurant just laughing it up, trying to have a conversation with the customers. Oh yeah, that's another thing she does too. She likes to have conversations with the customers, and I'm like, can you quit talking to the fucking customers? Quit having a conversation with them. Quit having a conversation with them. Quit having a conversation with them. They're just there for food. Just give them just give them their shitty bland food and send them on their way. You do not need to have a conversation with them. But she does it anyways. As like, you know what? It doesn't really surprise me that people like her tend to fart out children when they're in their predicament like that, because I always tend to notice that a common theme here. I always tend to notice that is always the poorly educated that tend to fuck and fart more children than people who actually are educated. That's something I tend to notice, right? That is always the less educated that always tend to fart out more children, and I'm pretty sure she hasn't had anything higher than a college education, anyways. So it doesn't anything higher than a high school education, anyways. So it doesn't really surprise me one bit. So like, I'm just like, why? Like why bring a fucking child into this world knowing how expensive everything is? And I'm pretty sure she would just say, oh, the will of God. Fuck the will of God. You think God is gonna pay your bills, gonna pay for is gonna provide you everything in regards to clothing and feeding that fucking child? Because if you think so, you're a fucking idiot. God doesn't give a shit. God doesn't give a shit about me. He doesn't give a shit about nobody. God is just, which I know is crazy for me to say, because when it comes down to my beliefs, I really am just agnostic at best, and I tend to question the existence of a God more so than actually believe in one. So it's easy for me to say this, like, fuck the will of God. If I'm ever planning on having kids, right, I'm gonna damn well make sure that my ass is stable financially before I even even consider having kids because I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not retarded. I'm not inconsiderate to want to bring a child into some bullshit, to bring a child into some poverty. If you bring a child into like a poverty stricken environment, then yeah, that is abuse. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. But yeah, it don't surprise me one bit because like people like her, they don't think very deeply about these things. They just no, they just do it because oh, why the fuck not? They do it to satisfy whatever. I mean, they just do it to satisfy whatever their own pleasure and happiness is in the moment, not knowing that their decision, that their piss poor decisions is gonna end up affecting their children later down the line. And God forbid her own daughter ends up resenting her at some point. But anyways, yeah, that was just something I needed to talk about real quick. Honestly, man, I mean, I really don't want to have kids. Honestly, I really fucking don't. I mean, let's just say by some miracle, right? I do manage to get a girlfriend. I like someday I do manage to meet somebody. Man, I don't know how I'm gonna approach the situation if that conversation ever does come up. I don't know how I'm ever gonna approach it. I really don't. I really don't. And I really hope I don't get. And I really hope she doesn't pressure me into having kids. To be honest with you, whoever I end up with, which at this point I really don't see it happening for me at this point. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.